Greetings to everyone out there in the No DQ galaxy. WrestleMania week is upon us. It is going to be an extravaganza. Fans are going to New Orleans. Virtue is going. People are going to be checking out all sorts of great shows. Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground versus Impact Wrestling. So much stuff, so much content. WrestleMania, of course, but there's another show that is almost certainly going to be very memorable, and that is NXT Takeover New Orleans. We are here to discuss that show and give our predictions. I am being joined by the man who was recently reinstated to No DQ, Mr. Virtue. How's it going, sir?
It's going great, and here's the kicker. I'm going to be in New Orleans. I did not buy an NXT ticket because they were ridiculously expensive. So our plan is this. We're going to watch Kenny and Cody at Ring of Honor. Then we're going to go watch back at the cabin we're staying at, not in the Wyatt family area, but we're going to watch NXT.
Now,
not live, but we're going to watch it.
Now, I heard that NXT is not sold out. You might still be able to get tickets if that's something you wanted to do.
I really wanted to go see Kenny and Cody, but again, with that said, you know I will be watching NXT still that same night.
Interesting, because I have a friend who was going to go to Money in the Bank, but once All In was announced in Chicago, he decided he wants to go to that instead. I'm starting to see this more and more with fans where they'd rather go see the indie stuff than see WWE. I just find that very interesting. Also being joined by the Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion. I got the shirt on right here, Mr. Gregory Cherry. How's it going, Greg?
Not too bad, and I'm in full gimmick. Like I used to wear this stuff on the indies, so it's been a while since I've put this on. Maybe I'll bring it in for the Wrestling Trivia show.
Sounds good.
WrestleMania week is upon us. Takeover, of course, a huge part of it now. So I'm looking forward to the shows.
Right on. Now, do you have the Wrestling Trivia Challenge bracelet?
I do, right here.
All right, that $1,000 bracelet. Yes.
I know. I didn't want to put it too close because I didn't want to blind anybody. Yes, it is sitting comfortably on my wrist until, of course, you line up challengers. That's another show. That's another show completely.
Speaking of potential challengers, our fourth person here on the panel today is very interested in facing you for the trivia title at some point. He is Virtue's co-host on Facebook, the Tuesday Night Virtue's Rage videos. We have Big Jeffrey. How's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? I'm doing good. Excited for NXT TakeOver. So we'll see how everything goes, and let's get this thing started.
Sounds good to me. We're very happy to have you on since you've been watching the shows every week. Full disclosure, I have not, but we will go ahead and give our predictions for these shows, matches, I should say. We are going to be doing predictions for the shows, but for this video, it's just NXT. WrestleMania is next week. You guys will have to wait for that. And maybe Virtue will post another video giving his predictions for Ring of Honor or whatever shows he's attending. Anyways, let's talk about the card here, which, in my opinion, is actually the most solid lineup in a couple of years, I think. After a couple of shows where it felt like the card really wasn't as stellar as 2 or 3 years ago, this card on paper, this should be an excellent show just based on the card that we have on paper. This could be the pay-per-view of the year just based on these matches without even seeing the outcomes of these matches. So the first match we'll talk about is for a brand new championship in NXT. It is the North American Championship ladder match. So we got a ladder match on NXT. We have 6 people in this match. We have Killian Dane, we have Lars Sullivan, Adam Cole, baby, Velveteen Dream, and we have 2 people making their NXT pay-per-view debut. We have Ricochet, formerly Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, and the man who was one of the top stars in Impact Wrestling in recent years. He still has his name from Impact Wrestling, EC3. So, Jeffrey, let's start with you since you've been following NXT. Of these 6 people, who do you think is the favorite to win this match? Who's your prediction?
Well, they announced this match last night on NXT. Regal was, talking about it, and EC3 came out and interrupted him. And then during the show, Regal kept on announcing names. I'm going with the dark horse here. I'm going with the Velveteen Dream. I watched him growing up in the independent scenes here in Maryland, and from when he started to now, he has progressed. And when I went to Takeover Philadelphia, he and Aleister Black had an awesome match. So that is my pick, the Velveteen Dream.
All right. Greg, your thoughts?
Steelers fans, we think alike. I was actually going to go with Velveteen Dream also. And it's just because of how Velveteen Dream, his match against Cassius Ohno aside, his match with Aleister Black was fantastic. I just think Velveteen Dream is going to be a future star in NXT for the next year until he's probably called up to the main roster, maybe after WrestleMania 35. That's my prediction. He's going to be in NXT for a while, so he's going to carry the mid-card torch there. So that's my prediction. Virtue?
This is interesting with this title. So North America. So let me get this right. That's the United States, and that's Canada. All right. What else is North America?
Well, Mexico is technically, yeah.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Well, so I honestly, as much as I'd like to pick, Velveteen Dream, I know it's a mid-card title. I'm going with Adam Cole. I don't know. I just think that he needs to have a title like The Miz has the Intercontinental title, and now we're probably thinking Adam Cole should be up in the main event for the, for the big title. So if he wins the North American title, does that kind of set him back? But I'm picking him because for some reason I just can't pick against Adam Cole in NXT. I don't know what it is. Another interesting choice to me is EC3. He is in this match, right?
Yep.
Yes.
That's my dark horse. That's my sleeper. But my official pick will be Adam Cole. Baby, the creator of that saying is Chris Jericho. That's why I like Adam Cole.
I hear you, Virtue. So EC3, I feel like he's going to be in the NXT championship picture sooner than later. That's why I don't think it's going to be him. And he can lose this match without looking bad. He can have a really strong performance. Same thing with Ricochet. I think he's going to do a lot of cool spots, but I don't think it's going to be Ricochet winning. Adam Cole could win it. I could see him as a possibility, but I have to go with Jeffrey and Greg on this one. I think it's going to be Velveteen Dream that picks up this title here, and this is going to be something for him to do over the next several months, and I just feel like it's going to be something really positive for Velveteen Dream. He's just going to look right with that championship. So I'm going with Velveteen Dream to win. He's going to do the old Edge thing where he's going to be the opportunist and take advantage of a situation and win the title that way. So 3 of us going for Velveteen Dream. My second pick, I think I'll go with Adam Cole as my second pick, Virtue, just to be on your side a little bit.
Okay.
Anyways, let's move on here. Let's talk about the NXT Women's Championship match, which is Ember Moon defending against Shayna Baszler. This is a rematch from the January NXT pay-per-view, and I think we're going to have a title change here. If I had to make a prediction, I would say Shayna Baszler gets the job done this time. Not really sure what else to say about the match. Greg, any thoughts on it? Who's your pick?
I'm going to dissent with you on this one. I'm going to pick Ember Moon to retain, just because I want to be different. But I think it's too early for Ember to win the title. Shayna Baszler does have that attitude, kind of like that Brock Lesnar mentality where she can kick your ass and enjoy it the entire way through. But I think Ember is going to pick up the victory. And will it hurt Shayna Baszler? I don't think so. Perhaps she's a call-up after WrestleMania, which might seem early, but stranger things have happened. So I'm picking Ember to retain.
All right. Well, Virtue.
All right, I'm picking Shayna. Let's be honest. I mean, in a perfect world, they would demote Ronda Rousey to NXT to learn how to work. great feud with Shayna. I'm just kidding with that, because Ronda, her notoriety. Shayna Baszler should have beat Ember Moon, and I get it. Ember won the title, and that was her first defense. This girl is badass. I've seen her at AIW. She was the AIW Women's Champion. And again, build this girl. You can't keep having somebody that can really beat people up lose matches. That's just my opinion. So as much as I do like Ember Moon, something about Ember always reminds me of Mickie James. I don't know what it is, the way she moves around the ring a little bit. So I think we're going to see a great, what's her finisher, Greg? The Eclipse?
The Eclipse.
I hope somehow when she goes to hit that move, it turns into a submission. It could just be great. So I'm going with Shayna.
All right.
Jeff, Big G.
All right. Well, I'm going to continue the streak. I'm going with Shayna Baszler as well to win the NXT Women's title. Their match at NXT Takeover Philadelphia was pretty good too. I think I was the only one there cheering for Shayna Baszler. Everybody else was cheering for Ember Moon.
Doesn't that feel great?
It does. It really does. I think, like you were saying, she'll hit the clips somehow, and then Shayna Baszler would try to get her like in a chokehold or something like that, and have her tap out.
That'd be a great finish.
Hey, did you just call her Shayna Baszler? She could become like the RVD of the women's division. Totally. That would
there you
totally.
go.
She's gotten upset with me on Twitter before because she heard me on a video call her Shauna. So,
oh wow.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, that's just typical NXT. A lot of the time, these names are so difficult to pronounce. I always have trouble with half of the names in NXT. They have some really unorthodox names sometimes. But let's move on here and talk about the NXT Tag Team Championship, which is quite interesting here because of the circumstances. So originally, it was supposed to be Undisputed Era, which is Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, but Bobby Fish has been injured, and because of that, Adam Cole is subbing for Bobby Fish in this match. So he is pulling double duty on this show, which I find to be really interesting. It's going to be Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly defending the titles against Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne and the Authors of Pain. So this is also the final match. Explain this to me, Big G. So this is the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, right? How did this all come about?
All right. Well, you had originally Mustache Mountain was supposed to be in it, and Tyler Bate, he had something with his knee, so he wasn't cleared for that week. So Roderick Strong went to William Regal and said, "Hey, let me find a tag team partner next week, and we'll face off against who was it? I can't remember who they fought now. Anyway,
that's okay.
It doesn't matter. So Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne came out, which is going to be my pick. The dark horse. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to go with Strong and Pete Dunne to win the match.
All right.
To win the NXT Tag Team titles.
And Pete Dunne is, in fact, the UK champion right now, so he could become a double champion. Yep. Actually, Adam Cole could be a double champion, too, since he is filling in for Bobby Fish. I guess he's technically the tag team champion with Kyle O'Reilly, and he could also win the ladder match. So, Virtue, your thoughts on this match?
I'm going Adam Cole again, and the Undisputed Era, they're gonna win this. First of all, Authors of Pain, I see them going to the main roster. I don't know, do you guys? And Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne boosting up 205 Live or whatever. I'm going Undisputed Era, hands down, for that very reason. This should be a solid match because there's so many different styles. Greg, am I wrong with that? I mean, it's NXT. They're all good matches.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this will be a solid triple threat tag team match. I'm going to have to go with Strong and Dunne for this one. I see it'll be nice to see Pete Dunne on NXT shows more often than just the televised. It'll be nice to see him actually on the I don't want to call them pay-per-views because technically they're not pay-per-views. The takeover shows, I'll just call them that. It'll be nice to see him on more takeovers. And him being a double champion could completely work for him. I love the bruiserweight gimmick. It fits him so well. And the bitter end is a really close second to the end of days for my favorite finisher in wrestling right now.
All right. Well, I think the Authors of Pain, like Virtue said, I think they're going to be called up really soon. I think they're going to be one of the call-ups after WrestleMania. So I don't see them winning. I could see Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne winning, but I think I'm going to have to go with Undisputed Era winning this. The thing about Adam Cole is I feel like he could get lost in the shuffle with EC3 getting into the mix now and Lars Sullivan getting a big push, Velveteen Dream getting a big push. I feel like Adam Cole is better off right now in a tag team with Kyle O'Reilly. I just think he's better off doing something as a tag team unit. So I think they're going to win.
What's the injury, Aaron, with Fish? Could he show up and interfere?
No, I believe it was a knee, some sort of knee injury, and he's out for a while. I remember it's something like 6 months at least.
Yeah.
He's going to be out for a while. So I'm thinking for the time being, Adam Cole. I think they're both stronger together. I think Bobby Fish would get very lost in the shuffle as a singles wrestler. So I think they're best off staying a unit, staying tag team champions. So I'm going with them. All right, let's move on here to the Unsanctioned match, which for a lot of people is the main event of the show. It is Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, another name that's a little tough to pronounce if you're not familiar with it. This is the conclusion to their storyline that has gone on for almost a year now, going back to the NXT Takeover Chicago event. Of course, Ciampa got hurt, and that had led to the storyline being delayed. We saw Gargano have a very strong match at the Philadelphia show. You were there, Big G. That was a hell of a match. A lot of people think it's potentially the match of the year. It's going to be tough to top. But Gargano lost, and I think he needs a win. I think this storyline will end with this match, and I think this will be Gargano picking up the win here. And where does he go from here? Does he go to the main roster? I mean, usually when somebody's heading to the main roster, they lose their final match. But I think for the story here, Gargano needs to win and have that feel-good moment, especially coming off of losing in January. But, Greg, let's start with you. Your thoughts on the match and who do you think's going to pick up the win here?
This storyline was fantastic. I actually watched the clip of Ciampa turning on Gargano just a few days ago. And like the look on Gargano's face, like right before Ciampa did it, it's like something was said between them and Gargano was confused. It's like, what did you say? And then the turn happened. It's like, this has been fantastic from the get-go, this entire storyline. And yes, it was delayed with Ciampa being injured, but they've been able to drag it out and they've made it work. They have made it work for them, and it's worked beautifully. This match, I mean, they had a great match at the Cruiserweight Classic, but that was when they were friends. This match being unsanctioned, no disqualification, no count-out, I think it's going to blow our minds how good this match is going to be.
Absolutely. Now, Big G, so I remember in the storyline that the reason it's unsanctioned is because Johnny Gargano actually lost a loser leaves NXT match, which makes me think,
absolutely,
win or lose, this is going to be his last match in NXT. So the question is, does he put over Ciampa on his way out, or does he win for the feel-good moment? Your thoughts on the match?
I like Johnny wrestling, but I'm going to have to go with Ciampa on this one because I have a feeling that Gargano is going to go up to the main roster, whether it be the 205 Live or Raw. So, and this feud has been really good. I mean, like you said, Gargano, he lost against Andrade Cien Almas. And then a couple weeks after that, Ciampa came out. He was going to talk on the mic, and he just got pretty much booed out the building by everybody. And then I think last week, Ciampa and Gargano pretty much like fought out on the ring, and then security got Gargano out, and so it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good match, but I'm gonna have to go with Ciampa on that one.
All right, Virtue.
Wrestling Booking 101. Ciampa has already won this feud. The heat he is getting is insane. Johnny Gargano needs to win the match, right, by any means necessary. After the win, Ciampa beats him up, hurts him really bad, gets his heat back, problem solved. Everybody looks great. That's what I'm going with.
So you're saying it's going to be like SummerSlam 2002 where Shawn won the match, but then Triple H beat him up afterwards.
I'm sure Triple H puts his little, sprinkles over this thing, so there you go. But yeah, Johnny has to win this match. Ciampa's already made, so.
All right. So there you go, and we'll see if this match can be another match of the year contender. I think it's a fairly safe bet to say it's going to be one of the best matches of the year. And now we have the main event, the NXT Championship match, Andrade Cien Almas, another name that can be tricky to pronounce, versus Aleister Black. Aleister Black has been on a roll. He's been red hot. A lot of people think this guy can not only be the top guy in NXT, but also a top guy in WWE as well. He seems to be one of those guys that has the look and the intensity to be a major superstar. I think we're going to see a title change here. Almas has had a fairly decent run. He's had a few successful title defenses, but I think it's Aleister's time. I think it's going to be his moment. And then after this feud is over, I think Almas is going to be one of those guys that gets called up soon as well. I could see him being called up, maybe not immediately. I could see them having a rematch, and then Aleister wins the rematch, and then Almas debuts on the main roster maybe around SummerSlam. That's how I see it, at least with the timetable. But Virtue, let's start with you. Your thoughts on the match? Do you think it's Aleister's time?
Yes, and let me ask you this question. What's the rehab status of Drew McIntyre?
He should be back really soon.
So we didn't really talk about it. Are we going to see anybody in the crowd? Any new NXT people? Have anybody been signed or anything exciting happening there like sometimes we get?
Great question.
Because I think Drew might show up. I don't know why. I just have that feeling. But again, I don't know his rehab status. But you're absolutely right, Aaron. Aleister Black, it's his time. Greg, did he officially lose a singles match yet?
Not a singles match. He was pinned in the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah. He's damn good, and he needs to win. He needs to go over. I mean, I didn't think Almas was ever going to win the title, and whether it was because Drew got hurt or not, I think he's carried it better than I imagined to this point. But NXT is about like future, and Aleister Black. I mean, come on, this guy, he's a machine. So I'm going with you, Aaron. Same pick.
All right. What just happened with your camera? Fudge. No DQ fudge. All right, well, Big G, your thoughts on the match, and who do you see, if Aleister Black does win, I mean, who do you see as the next contender, regardless of who wins? Who's the next in line to challenge for the NXT Championship, in your opinion?
Well, I'm going to go with Aleister, winning the NXT title. Who could I see? Maybe, I was going to say Drew McIntyre, but it's probably too early. Maybe EC3 or, somebody who lost the ladder match.
Yeah, I was thinking EC3 too.
Not to go off subject here, but what would happen after the tag team match? What if War Machine showed up and attacked the Undisputed Era or whoever won that tag team match? Because I know they got caught up too recently too, or they
so
just
that could be our
NXT.
Yeah. Yep. Now, were they in the crowd in January in Philadelphia? Okay, so you can't do that again. So yeah, I would think if they're going to do anything, they're actually going to physically get involved on this show.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think who might show up. I mean, Greg, any ideas? First of all, your prediction, and to add to that, anybody you could see showing up in the crowd, anybody you think is ready to be debuted to the world on NXT? Because usually we get somebody in the crowd. Who do you think it might be?
Right, and both Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre were big surprises to a lot of people. So Virtue, I want to ask you this: when is that Ring of Honor show? WrestleMania week?
It's Saturday night, pretty much the same time. It might start a half hour before the NXT show, but they overlap.
Okay, well that eliminates anybody there. So I don't really know who could possibly show up. I'm trying to think. Maybe Bobby Lashley?
No way. He's not going to NXT. Nah.
Well, maybe because Drew was a main guy too when he went to NXT. He was a main roster guy before he
Maybe it's Drew coming back. Maybe he's at least enough ready to be back for an appearance. Maybe they just rehashed him because he's been gone.
It could be. But my prediction for this match, I think Aleister Black is going to win. And EC3 might be a challenger down the road, but I think the next challenger is going to be Tommaso Ciampa.
There you go.
Ooh,
very solid prediction right there.
Match.
Absolutely. Good job. Good pick, Greg. So I think we were all unanimous with that one. I think we all went with Aleister Black. That's the only match where we all agreed on the same person. So there you have it. I mean, I have no idea who's going to show up as a potential surprise. I mean, there might not be any surprises other than Drew McIntyre. I could see him showing up. I could see War Machine showing up to interfere.
Maybe Virtue. Maybe I'm not going to the Ring of Honor show.
Oh, maybe it's a swerve. Never say never. This is a crazy word. Maybe you'll show up with a no DQ beach ball and just piss off everybody.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. Virtue, you're very unpredictable. Anything is possible with you. But it's great to have you back, by the way, on the no DQ team. You were missed very much. So I think that's it. We got everything covered for this show. Thank you all for watching. Let's go ahead and do the plugs. Big G, any plugs you have for the wonderful No DQ Galaxy members out there?
Absolutely. You guys can follow me at Twitter at Jeffrey Hiltel, Facebook, Instagram, and that's all pretty much for me.
Your name's hard to pronounce too. I always thought it was
Hitler? I thought it was Hitler too.
Whoa!
Listen. Hill Tull. So say Hill.
Wait, is it
Hill?
Tull.
Hill Tull. There you go.
Nice.
Good job, Richie.
Okay, Greg, your plugs.
You can follow me on Twitter at PA Sensation. Of course, this is coming back shortly after WrestleMania. Wrestling Trivia Challenge. So hopefully my title reign lasts more than one match. But we'll see. That remains to be seen. I'll probably see Jeff at some point. Not Jeff Meacham. I've seen enough of him on the show. I'll probably see Big G at some point. And that's it for me.
All right, Birch.
Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue and go to the NoDQ.com opinion section where every week you can see Virtue's Rage, Raw and SmackDown talk discussion with Big G, Jeffrey Hiltel, and myself. We also record them live on my Facebook Live every Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. But if you can't watch live, we put them on demand. So that's it.
All right. That'll wrap it up for this video. We will see you guys next time for more. Stay tuned.